To Officers Adda 247 YouTube channel. So this is another morning, this is another session. We were going to discuss some very important concepts, and based on that we are going to understand some very important questions. Okay, so let's start the session. Before to start, I would like to say our target batch is going to start from the 7th March, and this is a time when you should just focus on the basic things, basic understanding of every chapters for just solving the questions of the easy, moderate as well as the advanced level questions, and just trust on our just faculties, because the result whatever we just received on the 27th February, 26th February, and that is a fabulous, everybody is just getting the marks just above the 60 marks, and that is really a great achievement for all of the officers and the 247 faculties. So these kind of the sessions, these kind of the batches, that is very helpful in your preparation. So you only have to just apply the code, that is Y422, and with this code you will just going to receive the maximum discount on every JAIIB and CAIIB product. Like you can enroll that target batch, where this target batch is very important. I'm just focusing more and more on for this target batch, because in this batch you just do not need to worry so much for everything, like what you have to read, what kind of the questions that you should practice. For everything we are just here for you guys, and like we just explain everything, like from basic to advanced. Okay, so I hope that you should just enroll in these batches. So now let's start the session. So today we are going to understand about the depreciation, and this chapter is very important. If I say from the exam point of view, like you will find plenty of the questions from this chapter, because in this chapter the multiple questions that based on the multiple the methods for calculating the depreciation. So this kind of the chapter is very important, and in this chapter we are going to understand how to calculate the depreciation using straight line method, using declining balance method. Okay, and double declining balance method, that is your double declining balance method, and sum of years digit method, that is sum of years digit method. So we just going to understand in the depreciation chapter, like these all are the methods. From that you just going to just get in the like you just going to get the questions in the examination, and you will find a plenty of the questions from this single chapter. If I say that is you will just going to get the 6 to 8 marks questions from the depreciation, so that would be not wrong. Okay, so now understand what is depreciation. So whenever suppose that you just purchase an asset of or say you just purchase a machine that is of 1 lakh rupees, for example. Okay, and the today you just purchase this machine for the 1 lakh rupees, and if I say you are just going to sell this machine in the market after 5 days. Okay, you are just going to sell this machine after 5 days. So if I say how much amount, or say can you just sell this machine in the 1 lakh rupees after 5 days, so the answer that would be no. You cannot sell this machine, and this machine is still new. Okay, but after 5 days, or say after 1 days, after 2 days, after 3 days, after purchasing of this machine, you cannot sell this machine at the same rate that you purchase. So that is actually the concept of the depreciation that arises. That means depreciation, if I say what is a depreciation and how to calculate the depreciation. So the depreciation is nothing but why we just calculate the depreciation in the companies. Depreciation is used in the company for various purposes, and one of them is just a tax benefits. Okay, so suppose that any company just purchases the machine that is of the 1 lakh rupees, and it is just going to suppose that its useful life is of 5 years. Okay, so that means after 5 years the company just needed to replace this machine for just purchasing the new machine. So after 5 years, just company just want to, or say just company should just accumulate this 1 lakh rupees again. So for making it easier, for making it simplify, this company depreciate this machine and just separate some amount. Okay, just separate some amount, whatever the depreciated. Okay, so just separate some amount, like after 5 years, this company will easily just replace this amount of the machine. So that is why the depreciation is uses. And another purpose, that is the tax benefit. Okay, so usually the company that uses the for the method, the where the depreciation for the initial year, that would be the higher, and after that just lower. They started with the higher, and after that lower. So usually just companies uses the depreciation like this way. That is why it is term, you just understand, that is declining balance method, that is double declining balance method. Okay, that means that first is the higher, after that lower than the higher, lower than the higher, lower than the another higher. Okay, so that is just a process of the declining or double declining balance method. Again, the thing that you have to understand, another method that we are just going to understand, that is sum of year digit method, where we just exactly started with the, like, if the sum of year digit method, suppose that useful life, that is 5 year given. So we just started with the 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. We will just understand the sum of year digit method, that things. But now we are just going to understand the basic method that uses in the depreciation, that is straight line method. Okay, so just understand. So what is a straight line method? Whenever we say straight line method, that at its name itself representing, that means a straight means is a very simple method. Okay, so the first thing that you have to understand here, that is a straight line method is nothing but a constant depreciation. Okay, so if I say that is constant depreciation, or say constant depreciation amount for every useful years, or for, say, for every useful life of an asset. So that is just understand as a straight line method. So whenever you just find the question like this in the examination too, like constant depreciation amount, or say constant depreciation value for every useful life, just uses in which kind of the methods, that is the answer, that is a straight line method. Okay, another thing, the depreciation, if I say the depreciation rate, whatever the depreciation rate is applicable, that for every method the depreciation rate would be same, but depreciation amount is not the same. So you just have to just focus on this. Suppose that the question is like, the depreciation rate would be same for which kind of the methods for every year. So the answer, that would be the depreciation rate would be the same. Okay, but depreciation amount would be the different for every method. Okay, like if I say the straight line method, we use a constant depreciation amount. Suppose that for the first year the depreciation amount is applicable, suppose at 1,000 rupees. That means this 1,000 rupees would be just depreciated for the first year, as well as for the second year, as well as for the third year, as well as for fourth year. Every year the depreciation amount would be the same. Okay, so that is the basic feature of the straight line method. And today's lecture is about the straight line method, and we will do the plenty of the questions of the straight line method. So I hope it is very understandable for everyone. So in depreciation chapter, the first thing that you have to understand, you always have to consider the total cost of the machine. You always have to consider the total cost of the machine. So suppose that you purchase any machine in the for example, suppose that you purchase any machine in the 1 lakh rupees, and after that the installation cost is applicable. Suppose that 5,000 rupees you just incurred for the installation, and 5,000 you just 5,000 another expenses that incurred on the labor charges, or say transport charges. So that total, whenever we just talking about the total cost of the machine, so that would be equal to your 1,10,000 rupees. So that would always be considered by you. Okay, so whenever you have to just calculate the depreciation, okay, so you always have to consider the total cost of the machine, and that is very important. After that, another term, that is the salvage value. We say salvage value, or we can also say that is residual value. So you know what we understand by the salvage value, or what we understand by the residual value. So suppose that if in for the example, if I say, suppose that any machine you just purchase for the, or say any computer, suppose that any computer, you, this is you, and you are just going to a computer store for purchasing the computer, right? So this is a store and you are just going to purchase the computer. So you just ask what is the cost of this computer. So just store manager just tell you that is this computer price, that is 60,000 rupees. Okay, so you will find with that. After that you just ask that what is the useful life. Useful life, that means, useful life, that means that life, till that life, the asset, whatever the assets you purchase, that would work very fine. Okay, so that maybe work with a very fine, so that is actually known as a useful life. So suppose that the useful life that is explained by the store manager, that is 5 years. So that means after 5 years, whatever the value, or say the salvage value, or say residual value, is also just understand as the resale value. Okay, so suppose that this 60,000, after 5 years the value actually become the 20,000 rupees. So that means that is a useful life, and after useful life, whatever the value that remain of an asset, that is known as the your salvage value, or say residual value of that asset. Okay, so another term that is important in the depreciation, so this is another term. I hope this is understandable for everyone. So you can also understand by this another example. Suppose that you purchase the car, and the car cost, that is 10 lakh rupees, and after that if I say that is the ex showroom price of the car, and after that more charges that incurred on this, like RTO charges. Okay, RTO charges, insurance charges. So too much charges there are for just making this for the road price of the car. Okay, so we say if we have to just tell what is the total price of the car. So suppose that RTO charges, that is 50,000, insurance charges, that is 50,000. So the total cost that would become the 11 lakh, and that would be the road price of this, of that car. Okay, so you know, this is the concept of the total cost of an asset. Total cost of whatever the assets you purchase, whatever the anything that you purchase, so that is known as a total cost of an asset. Okay, so if I say, if for just example for the car, like for understanding you the total cost, and suppose that the useful life, that is 10 years, and if I say after 10 years the value that would become the 2 lakh rupees. That means after 10 years, if we are just going to the market for just resale this, we might just receive the 2 lakh rupees or below 2 lakh rupees of the car that we purchased today. Okay, so that is basically known as a salvage value, or say residual value of any asset. Okay, so the two things that is basically understand by you. And now the thing that how we calculate the depreciation for the straight line method. So this is very simple to understand. Like you always just write the total cost of asset, and minus are your salvage value, or say residual value. Okay, both are the same meaning, and it is divided by the useful life. So useful life, like we understand, uh, like 5 years, 10 years, whatever the life that is given. Okay, so that is the basic formula of your depreciation, and that depreciation would be same for every year, for every useful year, that would be the same. Okay, so now we are just going to solve the questions based on the straight line method. Okay, so the question that is your first question, and just do this by your side. After that I will explain you in my way. Just do it first by your side. First you have to understand, you have to consider the total cash, the total cost of an asset, and after that the salvage value and useful life is given. Just solve this and tell me what will be the answer here. So look, if we have to just find out the depreciation, so what we do, that is original cost of the machine, that is given 2 lakh rupees. So just write here that is 2 lakh rupees, and minus that is salvage value or residual value, that is 40,000. So just write here that is 40,000, and it is divided by the after it's used by the firm for the 5 year. That means, okay, one more important thing to understand, in the examination there are two type of the questions may be asked. Suppose that it is given like after, this is very important thing to understand, okay, because examiner just maybe just confused you. So after suppose that it is given like after useful life, the value of machine, like the value of the machine would be 40,000 rupees. So now you have to understand this 40,000 rupees, because it is mentioned after useful life. So this 40,000 rupees, it is your salvage value or say residual value, right? So you have to understand by this. Another type of thing like here mentioned that its salvage value after it used by the firm for the 5 year. So after useful life, the value of an asset that would be known as your useful life, okay, or say that would be known as a salvage or residual value. So that means the useful life of an asset that is given 5 years here, and you only have to just write here 5, okay. Now the value here that is 1,60,000, and it is divided by the 5, and after that you can just solve this, and what will be the answer? That is 32,000, okay. So that would be your the answer. Now the question that is find out the depreciation using straight line method and value of machine after 2 years. So two questions here, and you may get these kind of the questions in the exam of the 2 marks, okay. So for the first year depreciation is 32 year, and the for second year is again 32 year, for the third year is again 32 year. So depreciation would be constant, and we have to tell like value of the machine after 2 years. So that would be our depreciation. All right, that would be our depreciation, 32,000 rupees. Now if we have to just find out the value of the machine after 2 year, value of the machine after 2 year, or say after second year, what will be the value of the machine? So this 32,000, that means our machine total are what are the machine value, that is 2 lakh rupees, okay. And what is the depreciation? That is 32,000 rupees for the first year, and for the second year again 32,000. That means it would become 64,000. So what will be the answer here? That just calculate, and you just going to tell me what will be the answer. So that would be 1,36,000. So that would be your answer of the value of the machine. So whenever you are just going to solve the questions of the depreciation, you have to just consider the multiple of the things, like first thing that is total cost of the machine. Another thing that you have to consider your total cost of the machine, and your residual value, okay, useful life, that is. And one more thing, that in the straight line method depreciation amount is the same for every year. And sometimes the question is about like tell me the depreciation amount and value of the machine. So both the questions are just different, okay. Like we understand in this, like find out the depreciation, and in this another question that is find out the value of the machine after 2 years. So this is a very confusing for you, okay. So you always have to just differentiate between the depreciation amount and the value of the machine. I hope it is now clear for everyone, okay. Now just do another question. Look, another question is again the straight line method, and what I'm just repeating and repeating, that is total cost you have to consider every time. So the total cost, that is purchase a old machine, that is 96,000. So just write here. So old machine, company just purchased the old machine, that is of 96,000. After that spent 24,000 rupees on its cartridge. So that is 24,000 rupees on its cartridge. After that okay, 24,000 rupees on its cartridge, repairs and installation. So that means the whole amount, that is 24,000. Okay, so that is the total cost is given. So the total value that will be 1,20,000 rupees, right? So that would be the total cost of the machine. After that, residual value is given in the question, that is 72,000 rupees. So just write here. And useful life, which is given 4 years. So just write here. Okay. So now, if I say how to calculate the depreciation, look, this question is quite different. This question is about rate of depreciation. So first, calculate the depreciation. So what will be the depreciation here? The total cost of the machine, that is 1,20,000, minus residual value, that is 72,000. Okay, and it is divided by your useful life, which is 4 years. So just write here 4 years. Okay, after that, just calculate and tell me what is the value it would be. That is 48,000, and divide by the 4. So that would become 12,000 rupees. So that would be your actually depreciation amount. So you always have to be very clear between the depreciation amount, depreciated value of the machine, rate of depreciation. Now, if we have to calculate here the rate of depreciation, that means we have to just calculate the depreciation rate. Okay, so that is quite different from the depreciation amount. Why? Because the depreciation amount, that is 12,000 rupees, and on what value it would be applied. So it would be applied on the total cost of the machine. So that is your 1,20,000. And for the rate of depreciation, or say for calculating the term in the percentage, we just multiply it by the 100. Okay, so the value that we get, that is 10%. So this is how we solve these kind of the questions in the examination, and this is a very important aspect to understand. I hope this lecture is useful for you. Okay, now just do another question. So again, the another question, that is ABC Limited that purchase a machine costing 4 lakh rupees and spend 50,000 rupees on its installation. The estimated life is given. After which residual value, that is look, in this question, that is given the estimated life of the machine is 10 years, and after which its residual value will be 50,000 only. So that means our useful life is what it is given. It is given 10 years, like I just said. That is, after useful life, the value of the asset, the value of the machine, whatever we purchased, whatever the value it remains after useful life, that would considered as a residual value. So you always have to understand, suppose that you purchase anything for the 1 lakh rupees, and after 5 years the value would become 50,000 rupees. So that means that would be the total cost, that would be useful life, and that would be your residual value, or say salvage value. Okay, so just tell me what will be the answer here. So how you just how you guys just solving this question? Total cost of the machine, that is 1 lakh, and this would be 1 lakh and minus. Sorry, I'm just I'm just going to solve the question by the example. Look, so how we can just solve the total cost of the machine, that is 4 lakh, and spend 50,000 on its installation. That means total cost of the machine, that is 4 lakh 50,000 rupees, minus that is the residual value, or say salvage value, that is given 50,000. So just write here, and it is going to divide by the 10 years, right? So that would be your 4 lakh, and it is divided by the 10. So what will be the answer here? Just tell me. That would be the 40,000, right? So that would be your depreciation amount. So the depreciation amount, that is using a straight line method, so that would become the 40,000 rupees. That would be your answer. I hope it is very clear for everyone, right? Okay, okay. So in the next lecture, we are going to understand about the declining balance method, and that method is also important, and based on that we are going to solve some very important questions, that is very important for exam point of view. So thanks for everyone here, and if you're not downloaded the Adda 247 application, just download this and subscribe the officers Adda 247 YouTube channel, so that you can get the notifications of the live sessions, as well as the notifications of the important news that is related to your examination. So thanks for watching me here, thanks for joining me here. If you're liking our effort, liking our content, Do not forget to hit the like button on this video and share this video to your friends so that maximum number of our colleagues can join with us.